Well, hello everyone. This is Crystal Lynn with Cowgirl Astrologer, and I'm super excited, as I always say, because I always am, to introduce somebody that's going to come on today, and we are going to talk about a subject that we started on July 16th, 2014, and my special guest is Carolyn Mayberry. Hi.
Crystal, hi, how are you?
Good, good. This is so exciting because we launched our first hangout when Jupiter moved into Leo. Yeah. And wow, a lot's happened since then, wouldn't you say?
Oh, that's an understatement, yeah. I think it's been that way for everyone with, Jupiter and Leo in the background, and then, the final Pluto-Uranus square and all this energy, but it's like, this Jupiter and Leo energy is such a good anchor.
Yeah, well, it just kind of reminds me, like with everything we've been going on, at least in my mind, I think there's an angel in the background. There's protection. There's this energy that's just urging us on, keeping us going in spite of all that's happening. At least for me, I've been, trying to stay tapped into that energy.
Yeah, it's been a rough ride. For I think most people, in one way or another, but here we are.
Yeah. Well, one thing I think, to just bring up for people who are kind of, starting to learn about Jupiter. Jupiter is a one-year transit that takes 12 years to get around. So the last time Jupiter was in Leo was like 2002, 2003. Now, if you're my age, then, you can look back and go, wow, what was going on at that period in my life, that was significant, and you can start to see how a story that was started, like for myself in 2002, which was me, the beginning of developing my ranch, was a 12-year cycle. And now, right now, I'm, re-engaging and restarting part 2, chapter 2 of my ranch, 12 years later. So I'm able to kind of see this unfold in 12-year cycles, which is really cool.
Fascinating.
I think it's really cool. Mm-hmm. Now, when we moved in, when Jupiter moved into Leo in July, Saturn was still in Scorpio, squaring that energy. So to me, it's like, the sun wants to come out and play, and you've got a big water tidal wave saying, not quite yet. So we didn't really get the full effect of Jupiter, I believe, in the beginning, in the first 5 months or so. So what do you think about that Saturn and Scorpio kind of squaring that? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I completely agree. Because, we went into, Jupiter moved into Leo, and it was like this sigh of relief. Finally, this is going to be a great year. Who doesn't love Leo? Who doesn't love Jupiter?
Exactly.
But
doesn't get any better.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people had some tough times with the Jupiter and Cancer transit. But when it moved into Leo, we had high expectations, I guess. But yeah, the Saturn square, when Saturn was in Scorpio, which Saturn will be going back into Scorpio here in a few months. So maybe Jupiter will, I'm not sure. Is it going to line up exactly in another square? Maybe, because Jupiter...
maybe the first month, because it's moving into Virgo August 11th, 2015. So there's going to be a little bit of discussion there. Astrology almost reminds me of a soap opera. It's like,
exactly.
What's going to happen next? That's the
story. And they're all the different characters. Absolutely. It really is like that. And it's just I love astrology so much. But
I know.
Anyway.
It's fun. Well, it's fun. Well, and then right about the time that Saturn was getting ready to move into Sagittarius, something really unusual happened. Was that December 13th? What date?
Yep, December 13th it went retrograde.
Jupiter went retrograde. So we have been in Jupiter retrograde since December 13th.
Okay, and it went retrograde at 22 degrees, Leo.
Yeah.
And I believe today it's all the way back at 12 degrees Leo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's been really challenging. This has been some challenging months for me. You know, one thing when I think about Jupiter and Leo, it's really about us in a strange way, whether it's, you know, spiritually, our ego, what have you. You know, people think ego is bad, but ego's necessary. Ego's necessary. It's a necessary part of who we are to help us to even get out there and do the things we love to do. Without it, why would we, you know, we have to have something that gives us that drive. And so, you know, with Jupiter and Leo, it allows us to put, you know, who are you? What is your brand? You know, da-da-da-da, you know, and so with it going retrograde, suddenly we all think we got it together and we're just the, you know, we are the bomb, and then, uh-oh, let's review, let's take a look at all that, you know, and then you start going, oh my gosh, there's so much to look at in a retrograde. So it's been challenging.
Yes, I mean, it's almost like a deflation, like the bubble gets popped. And I think now, because actually the reason for this hangout is because Jupiter's going to be going direct again. Woohoo! It's going direct! Yeah. So I feel now is really the time to party. But, you know, for me, I can really, like, sense Jupiter's movements in my own, like, hope and optimism. So when it goes retrograde, that is, it takes a lot more, like, inner strength and willpower and purpose, really. Like, you have to really have the internal optimism and hope, because that's what Jupiter retrograde is going to test. It's going to make sure, hey, you can't lean on me. You have to have it within yourself. And man, I mean, it was tough, especially because actually, I mean, it went retrograde at 22 degrees back in December, and my Mercury is 21 degrees Leo, and my Jupiter is 18 degrees Leo.
Wow.
So November was such a good month for me. It was an incredible month. I literally closed over $1 million in loans and, like, set a record.
Wow, that is awesome.
It was really cool. And then, you know, I'm just making the connection now, but since December, it's been tough. I mean, how do you follow that up, too? It's like, have I peaked? I guess so, until Jupiter goes direct again, but... Oh,
well, I think it's kind of like it lets us out of the gate, and you got to remember, now Jupiter, this is something that, you know, people do need to think about. As much as we talk about Jupiter, we all love Jupiter, whatever's going on in your life, whatever it is, good or bad, hope, optimism, your mentality, what you think of yourself, is going to get expanded, good or bad. So that can be difficult because, you know, let's face it, Leo has been all about, you know, wait a minute, look at me, and Leo is very competitive.
Oh, yeah.
So we get a lot of competitive energy in the air because everybody's wanting to make their claim, which is a necessary thing. If there wasn't healthy competition is healthy, where you see someone doing something and you're like, oh, I can do that, or oh, that's a good idea. Maybe I can take that and expand it, or this or that, and so the energy starts playing off each other, and it drives us forward as a collective. Without it, again, we would just be like, I don't want to give anything away. But, you know, Jupiter can be a little bit, you know, big-headed in Leo.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure, for sure. And I think you made a really, really good point about how we actually do need ego. I mean, ego has a time and place. We are humans. We are on Earth. You know, we're not in a part of the divine yet. I mean, we are connected, but we're still here in these human bodies, and that's, I think, what is the ego is for, is to help us, you know, with that little extra spark, especially with Jupiter and Leo. I think it's actually been just really a wonderful transit.
I think the thing to remember, though, as well, is that you know, even though Jupiter will move into Virgo this summer, what's happening now in your life will be triggered for the next 12 years by this year's energy. It will continue to send out vibes into the next 12 years. So the retrograde has really been about all of us going behind the scenes. It's kind of like you get out there and you almost make a fool out of yourself, and then you go behind the scenes and go, oh my God, what did I do? Mm-hmm. And then, you know, you start reviewing and you kind of make a better plan, and you know, you might need to polish it up a little. You might need to reconsider. You might need to, you know, because Jupiter's so wild that, you know, often we just make big fools out of ourselves if we don't know how to use the energy. So I think the retrograde's been awesome, but I'm ready to move forward. I'm ready to go.
Me too. Yeah, I mean, and then there was the Mercury retrograde in Aquarius. Also Jupiter retrograde. And that was, you know, it was tough. It was a rough month, you know, like end of January, like February. It was, you could feel the retrograde. But like you said, I mean, it really is a time for you to go inward and double back and look at what you've done and look at what still needs to be done, what could have been better, and, you know, planning for how to do it in the future without making as much of a fool of yourself. But, I mean, that's the funny thing about Jupiter, is it's really funny. Like, you can accidentally be funny when you're not trying to be funny because you'll make a fool of yourself. But that's,
exactly.
That's the jovial nature of Jupiter.
Exactly. And you know, it's got a little narcissistic tinge to it. So
yeah, with it in Leo right now, for sure. Yeah. Yeah,
there's a lot of that energy, and you know, I have Mars in Leo, and it's funny because when you mentioned about ego, and this is different for everybody's chart, but you know, being that I have, you know, Pisces rising, Moon in Pisces, and a Virgo, that's a lot of service. I love to serve, and then I've got Mercury and Venus and Libra, so I'm always thinking of others, and often I don't have that veil of protection. And with having Mars and Leo behind the scenes in my chart, it protects me. That part of my ego, there's times I need to roar, there's times I need to, you know, say no. And for me, I'm grateful that I have that. Now, some people have all that fire at the top of their chart, and they might, you know, need to work on the opposite, but I don't know. I just thought I'd add my 2 cents on that.
Oh, absolutely. That's the beauty of astrology. That's why I love natal astrology. But yeah, I mean, you're completely right, especially babies born around this time with all this Aries energy.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to have to work on their compassionate side and their sensitive, you know, Pisces, watery side, because there's not a whole lot of water in the sky right now.
No. And, you know, I think the thing is, see, we just went through that really intense transit where we had that huge lineup in Pisces. We had, like, Sun, Moon, you know, Mercury,
Venus,
Mars, Chiron, Neptune, like, all conjunct for, like, this 3-4 day period. And myself, and those of you out there have a lot of water in your charts, especially Pisces, for me it was a very hard transit, because what Pisces does when you have a lot of water is it dissolves the ego. It dissolves it. It takes it away. That's why Pisces are so vulnerable, because we don't have an ego. We don't have this ego of protection. We walk around like crystal balls that everybody can look into, and it's very vulnerable. So when you have a transit like that cross through and completely, you know, make you feel like you're more invisible than you've ever been, you become very, very vulnerable. But for the collective, not just myself, it did dissolve a lot of our egos, and we all had to face the truth about some things, and we all had, like, no protection. And yet, as Jupiter begins to move forward, it's recreating the new ego, the new energy that we need. It's a whole new vibe, and the old ego's gone. The old one that's outdated, that isn't going to service us anymore. And a new energy of positivity is coming through. So sometimes things have to be completely dissolved before they're rebuilt.
Mm-hmm.
So
upgrade.
Yeah. So what day is Jupiter moving direct here? Did we, because we just looked at all, we wanted to get all the dates for you guys. Did we look
It
where
goes
we're at?
direct in 10 days on April 12th.
Wow. So one of the things I wanted to say about that, and you can add to this, when we are going through a period when a planet is going from, you know, retrograde to direct, that's when the energy's the wildest, okay? Because it's like it's got to go from that way to getting energy to a stationary stage and then get rolling again. So for all of you guys right now, you should be feeling this the next 10 days. And, you know, don't panic if you feel like you don't know what the heck's going on or you feel like you're in a tornado. It's just, for all of us, the energy has to shift and move forward. It can be a little confusing for people. What about your thoughts on that?
Yes, it's at 12 degrees right now, and it's going to be at 12 degrees when it goes direct on the 12th. So, wow. 12-12. Isn't that weird?
Wow.
When Jupiter is just standing still, I mean, yeah, it's like this anxious energy, basically. I mean, Jupiter doesn't want to be standing still. And we've had, you know, especially with these eclipses going on, too, and we've got an eclipse coming up this weekend.
Oh, my gosh.
And we've got Jupiter just standing there, just watching it all, just, hey, how's it going, you know? So it's definitely a very unique kind of situation that we're in right now, and it gives everyone a chance to collect themselves, I suppose, because the energy has been so intense just the last like 2 weeks.
Yeah, really high anxiety energy, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. And now Jupiter's like standing here. It's basically stopped moving. I mean, it's just inching towards direct. And I mean, it's exactly what it sounds like. Jupiter's just standing still right now.
Wow.
Well, it's not really positive or negative. It's kind of neutral, is my take.
Yeah, it's revving up. You know, it's kind of like, you know, you get on a bike and you warm it up. It's just warming up. You know, it's kind of like starting to warm up. Like it's been cold. Reminds me of, you know.
Now I'm picturing Jupiter just sitting there, and then when it goes direct on the 12th, like flames, like in Mario Kart or something, just boom.
Exactly.
Very enthusiastic. So, especially
now, interesting is that one thing that's interesting is that our full moon this weekend on April 4th will be in Libra. So we want to encourage you guys out there listening to realize what a powerful moment this is, because Libra and Leo love each other. Okay, it's a very harmonious energy. They work well together. Leo's kind of all about me. Libra's about, you know, all about others. You start blending this together, and you start saying, hey, is it really that great being all about me? Or, you know, do I want to share the love with others? Maybe we can work together. And it's taking all this behind-the-scenes stuff and bringing us into new relationships, new energies, new perceptions of old relationships that maybe in the past we felt like, I don't know, I'm not feeling it. And then all of a sudden we're seeing people in a new light. Or maybe you're feeling compassionate or forgiving, or, you know, maybe we can work this out. We've all been through a lot. And so this energy can help you to, you know, really perceive old issues in a whole new way. So I love that.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, you can even see that that's really where the universe wants us to go is, yes, you need your ego, yes, you need that Aries energy, but that's just half the story. You really need that Libra energy too. And it's interesting that right now, I mean, the south node of the moon is in Aries and the north node is in Libra.
Yeah.
So that shows you right there. You know, they always say follow your north node.
Mm-hmm.
We need to use each other, not use, but we need to recognize the value in relationships and not just me, me, me all the time.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, because we can do more together.
Yes.
You know, and being that this is going to be a lunar eclipse, that's really continuing a discussion, that's been going on with all this, Uranus-Pluto square stuff, I do want to really, hopefully, if anybody's listening out there, it's kind of a little more deeper message, but there's still some deep stuff going on behind the scenes. Evaluate where you're at right now. Evaluate your mindset. Evaluate your heart. Evaluate what you really want, because things are going to get eclipsed out of your life, and you don't want to be eclipsed out of a situation or somebody else's life because you're hanging on to a bad mentality. You want to decide, do I want to eclipse out old things and get on the new wave, because we're riding a new wave of energy. Neptune in Pisces, is direct, and there's a lot of energy coming. So if you have an old mindset you're hanging on to, or you're depressed, or you have a lot of anxiety, or you're angry, really get under this full moon this weekend and really let some things go so you're not left behind. That's just really, my astro alert.
Embrace the change. It'll make things easier for you.
Yes. Those are the things I'm looking at in my own life. I'm not asking, sharing anything I'm not looking at and saying, how can I make changes? How can I, what's really important to hold on to? There's some things that have been eclipsed out of my life, and, I've had to accept that, and yet I'm super excited for all this wonderful new energy coming in. I can totally feel it.
Oh, yeah, the universe has some fun stuff in store for us.
Yes.
Well, all of us Earthlings, I should say. That's what I mean.
Well, and think about it, you guys. Think about it out there. Where's Jupiter going next? In fact, the moon's in Virgo right now as we speak. I love the moon in Virgo.
I know, me too. It's been such a great day.
Although I wish I could get my house cleaned more, because I usually try to clean my house really well on the moon in Virgo, and I haven't gotten anything done.
The night is young.
But, yeah, with it coming in, it's going to be a time of service, products, launching businesses. So the next few months, while we have Jupiter in Leo, is the time to really launch your ideas and get them set and start experimenting and start getting them out there, because next year is going to be a good money year coming in. I believe money could really start flowing, and we want to be a part of that, especially if you have a lot of Virgo in your chart. I have Jupiter in Virgo, so I'm super excited about that.
Oh, exciting, yeah. Completely agree with you. Now's the time to build your brand. Get excited about yourself. And, I mean, really just take it from there. That's all you have to do. You can't plan too much. You just have to really build the foundation, and right now that is you. Your passions, build your brand, and let the universe do the rest.
Absolutely. And I think you said something in the beginning, maybe you could expand on it one more time, about the optimism, what is the message of Jupiter in Leo. Your attitude is what's going to ignite the energy and opportunities for you.
Absolutely, yeah. Life is what you make it. And really the only thing that you can control in life is your attitude. That's the main thing. I mean, if you can control your attitude, then everything, you can take the punches, and then when you reach those highs, it's that much sweeter. Jupiter, like in your natal chart, might give you a tendency to have that natural optimism and a good attitude. If it's harshly aspected or like conjunct Saturn or something, then you might be one of the people that really needs to work on controlling your attitude, because you always want to be in a good outlook, because only you really can control how you view things. And I personally feel that the reason why Jupiter is so lucky is because of Jupiter's natural optimism that just attracts positive things to happen. And it's gonna be really awesome when it does go direct, but you should start to feel that optimism really building in, and grab onto that and use that to build your confidence. If you've got self-esteem issues, now's the time to work on that and really realize your worth and how awesome you are. And if you're brave enough, share it to the world.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love that. You know, and another thing to think about, in fact, I want to give you a compliment on your Mercury and Libra video. By the way, you guys should check it out. I'll put Carolyn's link below. I have Mercury and Libra, so I loved it. But this Libra energy, and as you mentioned, the North Node with the full moon, it's going to be about having conversations and pausing and letting somebody else talk and listening. I loved how you said that. And back and forth, because, you know, Jupiter can make us a little manic, you guys. That's another thing to watch for, Jupiter and Leo. If you have a tendency, I have a tendency to get super excited about things, and I have to watch it because I can get obsessive about it and just go for days on an idea. And I'm just trying to also balance myself out so I can last the long haul. We don't have to do everything. If you find yourself feeling manic during this shift, you know, really get your reasoning mind up there and watch yourself, and just know that this energy is going to be here for a long time to carry us through. And your ideas that are happening right now, they get so exciting because Jupiter can bring sudden ideas, and then you get on, you know, you get on a real exciting wave. But pace yourselves, because this is going to be a beautiful, you know, we're going to see the next 4 or 5 years, I really believe, start to change in a positive way. So that's really cool.
It is. It's exciting. It is exciting. Really exciting.
So any final thoughts, Carolyn? Anything?
Oh, you know, just want to say thank you for having me on your channel, first of all. And Jupiter and Leo, I mean, we've only got a few months left through August 11th, and then it's moving into Virgo. But really, the new leaf has turned. This is, like, seriously a huge exclamation point onto the last, not even just the last few years, but the last decades that have been building up across the world, globally. You know, I mean, there's been such intense, unique transformational energy going on that's forced all of us to take it to the next level where we need to go, because God knows we need to go there. We need to get there. And after this eclipse, this lunar eclipse, the leaf has really turned, and it's up to us to take it from there and run with it. So it's exciting, and I know we're all going to do great. So
yes, well, awesome, Carolyn. Thank you. I thoroughly enjoyed this. Now, I would like to end with something. I have a little surprise. I'd like to end with a little song that came on my station today, and I thought it was the perfect little celebration song. So as we close, just stay with me the last 10 seconds, and then we'll close with this song for everyone. I thought it would be fun. Little Paul McCartney. Here we go. And we can dance, Carolyn.
Everybody gonna dance tonight. Everybody gonna feel alright.
Woo! Good, there you go, Carolyn. Come on. Get the screen over on you.
woo!
Woo!
Everybody gonna hit the ground. Everybody gonna dance around tonight.
All right, you guys, here we go.
Come on to my
See this together
Hello, everyone.
and ride this awesome wave. So thank you, Carolyn, and we'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Everybody gonna dance tonight. Everybody gonna feel alright.